problem that we have, Promise, is when now people can no longer afford their installments. For an example, your car installment, and the car would end up being repossessed. What do you then do if you don't want your car to be repossessed? Is there any other ways where one would do to avoid the repossession?
Okay, let me start by making a joke out of that. When I want to buy a car, I run to the dealership, right? I tell the dealership I want this car. I'm the one who left home and went to the dealership.
Yes.
I want this car, and they give me the prices and everything that they will add. If they need to add anything, they help me apply to the banks. And the bank that sees me as a right candidate to get the facility from them will approve, right? And maybe they didn't approve the same day. They were waiting for maybe some other verification, employment, and all this other thing. I am also the one calling them. Hi, I'm at a bank ABC. I sent my application yesterday. What's my status? Right? I'm following up with them. I'm communicating with the bank because I want what? A car from them. Right? I've built a relationship with them because now they know me. I'm their new client. They're giving me a car and so forth. So when I am faced with difficulties financially, why am I keeping quiet and staying at home and let the bank now start repossessing the car? I forgot that I'm the one who started the relationship. And the banks are aware that we are going to face some economic problems, financial problems. That's why they have arrangements. When you come across a problem financially, maybe you lost your job, or your salary decreased because of the pandemic happened and a lot of companies have decreased salaries, right? You contact your bank. Obviously they'll need a letter from the employer and your 3 to 6 months pay slips to show that there is a difference in the salary. You communicate with the bank. Bank ABC, your client Promise Manike took a BMW, whatever brand, model. Now I'm struggling to pay the initial installment. This is my situation. How can you help me? You communicate. You don't avoid the calls. You don't avoid the private numbers. I don't think they still use private numbers anymore.
No.
They don't. You don't avoid calls from your bank or your credit provider. You communicate. They will understand. As much as they are a business making money, they will understand. They will give you an option to make arrangements, right? And also, when you're retrenched, there's something that they call income protection insurance, something like that, right? When you take a credit facility, that especially with assets, they include that. So that in the event where you lose your job, whether permanently or for a short period, that policy kicks in and it pays it. It might not pay all the amount outstanding, but it will pay something until you can pay the installment yourself. For people who are retrenched. If you resign at work, unfortunately, if you had a pension, you have to use your money to pay the car. But what I'm saying is communicate with the bank. Communicate with whoever you're owing money. Don't just sit at home and think, because when you're thinking, you're not helping yourself. You're creating more problems because you're thinking of one problem that you don't have a solution for at that moment. But communicate with someone who actually gave you that now called a problem. You understand? That's where you're going to get help. You make an arrangement. They might say, okay, we're going to decrease it. You pay this much money. And when things are getting better, then we're going to move it to the initial installment.
Okay.
Communication.
And I think a lot of people, they don't do that because number one, they are in denial that they no longer afford this, and secondly, they don't want to lose this car because they're thinking, I'm used to having a car. Now what happens? How am I gonna move around, and what will people say? Tina, we've got that a lot. Abantu bazotini. Do you understand? And we shouldn't have that because it's affecting you. And what I want to ask now is, now what happens? Can one, if I see Guti, I've been retrenched, I can no longer afford the car, can I take it back? If I take it back, what happens?
Okay, Remember, they have to also, yes, you can take it back. To answer your first question, you can take it back. You'll be helping yourself because you don't know if you're going to get a job after that. And obviously, even if you want to start a business, you cannot make money on the first month, you know. So you can take it back. The car will calculate the value of the car. The bank will calculate the value of the current value of the car, or the present value of the car, and what you have already paid, and the initial credit that they gave you. You know, they'll either sell it to in auction, and then now you're left with a shortfall that you need to pay. Obviously, it's going to be an affordable amount unless the car was already new. Maybe it was a year old. Then obviously the shortfall might be a lot for you. But you know, when you're retrenched, you're given a package.
Rather pay it off.
Rather pay it off or keep it. If it's not enough, take it back and pay the shortfall, and start a business, or continue looking for a job while starting a business. I mean, what I'm trying to say is we cannot be depending on employment. I mean, the unemployment rate in South Africa is very high. I'm not saying companies are not employing, but the employing rate is very low. So rather use the skills that you've learned from the company to build your own company, then you can employ the rest of the people, you know, that are unemployed. Then we help the economy grow.
That's true. And also, I think, if you're deciding to pay off the car, because now this car is what you are having, or you've paid it off, or you haven't paid off, use it to make an extra money.
Correct.
Use it to make, so your car can actually make you money.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, you can do deliveries, you can do whatever.
You can be a runner.
It goes
Run
back
around.
to what you were saying, which is very important to have an extra income. Okay. And
I agree.
okay, thanks.